Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today. Chapter 261. In this world, the Taoed Immortal Sect is a major force. Do you still want to kill Jun Dongjin? Mu Qinglu glanced at Mu Mengting and asked. No, Sect Master. I can swear that I will not lay a hand on Jun Dongjin. Mu Mengting said without hesitation. As long as he could become an ancient saint of refined void and become the leader of the immortal sect. What would Jun Dongjin count for then? At this moment Mu Mengting had vaguely understood the mentality that Mu Qinglu had mentioned. Even Jun Dongjin, whom he once regarded as a major threat, would eventually serve him and guard the great business of the immortal sect for him. In such a situation, Mu Mengting would rather see more talents like Jun Dongjin emerge. Why kill them? Wuji is Jun Dongjin's younger son, lacking the spirit root, and seldom leaves the cloud mist blessed land, posing no threat to you. Mu Qinglu once again spoke. Sect Master, you underestimate me too much. How could I, Mu Mengting, lay a hand on Wuji? Mu Mengting said immediately with a serious expression. And that was indeed the truth. Over the years,
Mu Mengting had regarded Jun Dongjin, even Mu Lianae, Yun Xiaoyao, and Yun Xilen, as Lorets.
He was wary even of the younger generation. But he had never regarded Wuji as a threat. A cripple without even a spirit root, what is there to be wary of? That's why Mu Mengting had never made any moves against Cloud Mist Blessed Land. Because it simply wasn't necessary. That's good then. Wuji is also pitiful.
Mu Qinglu nodded.
After all, he was Wuji's maternal grandfather. Knowing that Wuji had no spirit root since childhood, although no one dared to bully him, he was extremely sensitive inside. Otherwise, why would a normal person hide in the Cloud Mist Blessed Land and hardly ever come out in decades? As long as Wuji is there, the Cloud Mist Blessed Land is his, and no one can touch it. Upon hearing the implications from Mu Qinglu, Mu Mengting immediately assured. Since that is so. Mu Qinglu nodded slightly. Come with me. I will show you the biggest secret of our Taoed Immortal Sect, the buffer zone between the barbarian wilderness and Central Earth, that mysterious refined void body cultivator. And recently that mysterious ancient saint, who emanated the power of Taiyin and whose power was at the hollow void peak. These two seemingly out-of-nowhere ancient saints of refined void added another layer of pressure on Mu Qinglu's heart. The pressure here. It's not about the Taoed Immortal Sect facing the risk of collapse or anything of that sort. But rather, he was worried that these ancient saints, together with those three old fellows, might stir up another great war in the central divine continent. Indeed, no matter the scale of the great war, it would not affect the rule of the Taoed Immortal Sect. Relying on Mount Morality Immortal and the Taihao Immortal Mirror, the sect was as solid as a rock. But it was annoying. Just as if there were originally only 3 flies flying around, and now a few more appeared. And battles at the ancient saint level could easily fracture the central divine continent, which the Taoed Immortal Sect had long considered as their own dominion. Therefore, the Taoed Immortal Sect must soon have a second ancient saint of refined void. 2 ancient saints of refined void, one stationed in Mount Morality Immortal. One holding the Taihao Immortal Realm, stepping out of the Immortal Mountain, to sweep away any potential enemies. Vast Cliff Mountain.
Yun Dongjin, Mu Lianae, Yun Xiaoyao, and Yun Xilen were gathered in a cave dwelling.
We might not be able to return any time soon.
Yun Dongjin sighed.
He had come to realize that the sect master's decision to transfer him away from Mount Morality Immortal was to pave the way for Mu Mengting. That is to say, The future leader of the Taoed Immortal sect, the ancient saint, had already been decided. It would be Mu Mengting. The future of Jun Dongjin now needed to be determined by Mu Mengting. Father!
Mu Lian luoket diectet.
Mu Qinglu had ultimately chosen someone from the Mu family to be the sect master. This decision was somewhat expected, for even beings as elevated as the ancient saint of refined void cannot be utterly impartial, having human emotions. Abandoning Jun Dongjin to choose Mu Mengting. It was not a strange occurrence. It's good that Wuji did not come with us to endure these hardships.
Yun Shilen spoke softly.
Cloud Mist Blessed Land had the effect of extending life. Wuji did not possess a spirit root, and body cultivation did not substantially increase lifespan. So, staying in Cloud Mist Blessed Land, Wuji could easily live for a few hundred years. If he were to consume any life-extending elixirs, perhaps he could live for a millennium. But if he had left Cloud Mist Blessed Land and come to this vast cliff mountain with them, his lifespan would definitely be sharply reduced, dropping to that of an ordinary person. Time slowly passed. In the blink of an eye, 100 years had passed. Over these 100 years, the situation in Central Divine Continent gradually became unstable. Blood Demon Sea, Demon Saint's Nest, and Nether Palace conspired in secret, desiring to incite another great war in Central Divine Continent. The only disappointment for the Blood Demon Sea, Demon Saint's Nest, and Nether Palace was the two mysterious ancient saints who had once appeared. One was an ancient saint of body cultivation. The other was an ancient saint of the power of Taiyin. They had not shown themselves again. If they could ally with these two ancient saints, their chances of inciting a great war in Central Divine Continent would greatly increase. Cloud Mist Blessed Land. Cultivation Chamber. Finally! Lin Yuan was seated cross-legged, a smile appearing on his face. Over 100 years, Lin Yuan, apart from routinely practicing enlightenment, had been attempting to thoroughly understand the essential nature of that physical body divine ability, blood rebirth. This physical body divine ability was extremely complex and involved many aspects, and even though Lin Yuan possessed against heaven's understanding, it had taken him 100 years to barely grasp it. With this, even if I return to the main world, I can use this divine skill. Lin Yuan's mind was pleased. Blood rebirth had miraculous effects for preserving life, and naturally, the more such methods, the better. It's just a pity that this divine skill cannot be widely disseminated. It will operate differently according to each individual's body constitution. I spent 100 years, using my main world physical body as a template, and the blood rebirth techniques that I've comprehended can only be applied to the physical bodies in the main world. Chapter 262. Lin Yuan's expression held a tinge of regret. He had originally planned to sell this divine skill to the goddess of wisdom, but it now seemed unfeasible. Although Lin Yuan felt some disappointment, he quickly adjusted his mindset. The higher the level and the more powerful the divine gift, the greater its restrictions. In the main world universe Starry Sky, some special secret technique heritages possess uniqueness. That is to say, in the same era, only one life can master this kind of secret technique heritage. This is an ironclad rule of the main world. Even if you have fully comprehended the secret technique heritage, you still cannot use it. Blood Demon Sea. The Blood Demon Master sat on an island deep within. After more than 100,000 years, I can finally stir up a great war in the Central Divine Continent again. The Blood Demon Master's expression was one of excitement. 120,000 years ago, he had instigated a great war in the Central Divine Continent alongside the Demon Saint's Nest and Nether Palace. However, he was utterly defeated at the time and had only just recovered over the past few thousand years. Taoed Immortal sect occupying the Ascension platform has forced us to remain in this realm. The Blood Demon Master muttered to himself. Master! At this moment, a blood-colored figure condensed above the Blood Demon Sea and bowed towards the Blood Demon Master. The Central Divine Continent is filled with formations laid by the Taoed Immortal sect. If we want to enter the Central Divine Continent with minimal losses, we need to ascertain the specific locations of these formations and other details. The blood-colored figure spoke softly. What is your plan? The blood demon master went straight to the point. There are not many in the Dao Immortal sect who are privy to these formations, one of them being Jun Dongjin. The blood-colored figure implied meaningfully. It has been no secret that Jun Dongjin was assigned to Vast Cliff Mountain over the last century. The next sect master of the Dao Immortal sect was almost certainly going to be Mu Mengting. Jun Dongjin had already become an expendable piece for the Dao Immortal sect. Subordinates believe that Jun Dongjin can be won over. If he can be made to serve us, invading the central divine continent would be much easier. The blood-colored figure continued. Indeed. The blood demon master nodded slightly. He could guess that Jun Dongjin probably harbored deep resentment towards the Dao Immortal sect. Now was the right time to win him over. But one thing must be kept in mind. Jun Dongjin cannot be directly won over. Surely the Dao Immortal sect has laid plans near Vast Cliff Mountain. The blood demon master spoke up. So the master wants to. The blood-colored figure inquired softly.
Approach Jun Dongjin's young son, Jun Wuji.
Then, through Jun Wuji, we can lure Jun Dongjin without fail, and avoid the detection of any abnormalities by the Dao Immortal sect. The blood demon master put forth. Master is wise. The blood-colored figure, after pondering for a moment, was filled with admiration. Directly winning over Jun Dongjin indeed bore great risks. Jun Dongjin, having once been a high-ranking official of the Dao Immortal sect, would undoubtedly still be protected by many means, even though he was no longer in favor. By attempting to win over Jun Dongjin, they would essentially be informing the Dao Immortal sect of their intentions. On the contrary, Jun Dongjin's son, Wuji, held much less prominence. Moreover, Cloud Mist Blessed Land was located right next to the Dao Immortal sect. Hidden in plain sight applied here. It was likely that the Dao Immortal sect would never suspect their interest in Wuji. Remember, when dealing with Jun Wuji, never use force. We must threaten or promise great wealth. The blood demon master reminded. At the same time, he opened his palm and a blood-red crystal appeared. Carrying this object will allow you to temporarily evade the surveillance of the Taihao Immortal Mirror. The blood demon master declared. After fighting with the Dao Immortal sect numerous times over hundreds of thousands of years, the blood demon master had naturally accumulated some measures against the Dao Immortal sect, especially that Taihao Immortal Mirror. However, the means of evading the Taihao Immortal Mirror surveillance came at a great cost to the blood demon master. And there were numerous limitations. Couldn't be widely disseminated. Cloud Mist Blessed Land. At the top of the mountain within a pavilion, Lin Yuan lay in a chaise lounge, leisurely basking in the sun. You may leave. Lin Yuan waved his hand. Yes. Chunhua and Chuyue bowed and exited. Time passed unknowingly. In the shadow of the pavilion, a blood-colored figure appeared soundlessly.
Jun Wuji.
The blood-colored figure approached Lin Yuan, voice hoarse and deep. I know your great secret. The blood-colored figure gazed at Jun Wuji intently. Great secret. Lin Yuan was momentarily startled. He had already detected the presence of the blood-colored figure. The ability to infiltrate Central Divine Continent and Cloud Mist Blessed Land came from a special aura exuding from the figure's body. Originally, Lin Yuan wanted to see if the blood-colored figure's intrusion was due to a specific matter. But hearing the figure openly claim to know his great secret, he couldn't help but be surprised. Great secret? Which great secret do you refer to? Lin Yuan asked solemnly. Which great secret? The blood-colored figure was somewhat confused. Could it be that this Jun Wuji had many secrets? And they had to ask about which great secret? Chapter 263 Taiyang Ancient Saint, standing tall and upright. Wuji, are you joking? What great secret are you talking about? The blood-colored figure let out a cold laugh, feeling that Wuji was being pretentious. He had been ordered by the master of the Blood Demon Sea to cozy up to Wuji, aiming to win over Jun Dongjin, a former high-ranking member of the Dao Immortal sect, through Wuji. Having been abandoned by the Daoed immortal sect, Jun Dongjin must be harboring resentments. With a sufficiently attractive offer from the Blood Demon Sea, the probability of success was high. To ensure Jun Dongjin's complete allegiance, there must be no coercion in winning over Wuji. Otherwise, how could Jun Dongjin not harbor mistrust when he sees the Blood Demon Sea treating his youngest son in such a manner? Coercion was not an option. Therefore, they could only promise significant benefits, or engage in semi-threatening tactics. The blood-colored figure, prior to his infiltration into the central divine continent, had meticulously reviewed all the intelligence related to Wuji. He did in fact unearth a secret concerning Wuji. "I really want to know what this great secret is," Lin Yuan said earnestly. His own secrets were far too numerous, and he wasn't certain which one the blood-colored figure was referring to at the moment. Was it from 100 or 200 years ago when he casually annihilated the hidden operatives of the Daoed immortal sect in the Black Gauze archipelago, over a dozen Mahayana heavenly monarchs and more than 50 nascent soul true monarchs? Or was it his ascension to the realm of ancient saint in body cultivation, unheard of in the central divine continent for tens of thousands of years, and how he had crushed the great emperor of the demon saints' nest, who was said to rival ancient saints, underfoot several times? Or perhaps it was about him, in the guise of the Tai-Yin primordial spirit, battling the Taoist immortal sect master Mu Qinglu in the 9 heavens, escaping unscathed in the end? Additionally, there was the master Yuanyang from the East Sea, who was not the half-step ancient saint the world believed he was. Humph! The blood-colored figure saw that Lin Yuan seemed truly unaware. So he decided to offer a hint. "Wuji, I assume you're not at the golden core stage in body cultivation," the blood-colored figure whispered. Lin Yuan looked squarely at this blood-colored figure, who he deemed less than an ant in his eyes. 20 years ago, among the cultivation resources you had your subordinates purchase from outside, there were ancient hidden flowers. Those are cultivation resources needed by body cultivators at the nascent soul stage. Your realm in body cultivation must have already reached the nascent soul stage. The blood-colored figure spoke confidently, holding a winning hand. This was his trump card for threatening Wuji. In just a short 100 to 200 years, Wuji had advanced from being a cripple to the nascent soul stage in body cultivation. Such body cultivation talent meant that stepping into the divinity transformation stage would pose no issues in the future. If this revelation had occurred over 100 years ago, it wouldn't have been a problem, but now, with Wuji's parents assigned to Vast Cliff Mountain, it was akin to losing their backing in the Daoed immortal sect. Moreover, with Mu Mengting's rise to power, if he learned of a rival's son possessing such potential, wouldn't he harbor other thoughts? And this was the blood-colored figure's biggest bargaining chip. It was information sourced from within the Daoed immortal sect, and it could also provoke Wuji's resentment towards Mu Mengting. Several gains in one fell swoop. Oh! Lin Yuan was expressionless. He had thought that the blood-colored figure really discovered some significant secret. Turned out it was about this matter. Lin Yuan indeed had the habit of instructing his subordinates to periodically purchase cultivation resources from the outside. But that was for show for outsiders. As for the ancient hidden flowers mentioned by the blood-colored figure, Choyue must have bought them casually. After speaking, the blood-colored figure, who had been full of anticipation and wanted to see Wuji's face contorted with fear, was expecting a panic at the revelation of his secret and possibly even the emergence of a thought to silence him with murder. All of these were within the blood-colored figure's expectations. He even had prepared a corresponding attitude to respond. But to his disappointment, he saw no change of expression on Wuji's face. How could that be? The blood-colored figure's thoughts were in disarray. Is there some other secret? Lin Yuan asked patiently. Isn't this secret significant enough? The blood-colored figure's tone rose a few notches as he spoke. Hiding the strength of a nascent soul stage body cultivator, once exposed, would inevitably draw the attention of Mu Mengting. What would happen then, no one knew. The blood-colored figure's original plan was to leverage this secret to manipulate Wuji. Wuji, as long as you agree to work for us, Mu Mengting won't be able to harm you, and my master will grant you a lifespan far exceeding those of cultivators. The blood-colored figure hurriedly continued when he sensed the situation unfolding unfavorably. To win over Wuji, threats alone weren't enough. Significant benefits must also be promised. The great reward the blood-colored figure could offer was longevity. As is well known, the lifespan of body cultivators is much shorter compared to that of cultivators. However, the master of the blood demon sea could, through his own methods, transform Wuji into a blood godchild. Bound to the blood demon sea, blood godchild's lifespan would be terrifyingly extended. Moreover, the life and death of a blood godchild would rest upon a single thought of the master of the blood demon sea. If Wuji became a blood godchild, he would be completely integrated into the blood demon sea, unable even to betray it if he wanted. It seems I was overthinking. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. He had been aware of the blood-colored figure's affiliation with the blood demon sea. While his aura might deceive others, it couldn't fool Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan initially thought that the blood demon sea might actually know something. Now, it seemed he was the one overthinking. Even the nearby Dowd immortal sect had not noticed his true identity. The blood demon sea, far to the north of the divine continent, could actually do very little. Let's see what the master of the blood demon sea is really up to. Lin Yuan's gaze rested on the blood-colored figure. The reason he had been conversing with the blood-colored figure was because he was worried that the figure might genuinely know something. Now that it was certain the other party understood nothing at all. Chapter 264. He naturally planned to take direct action. The crimson figure felt puzzled upon hearing this. But the next moment, the crimson figure felt his consciousness rapidly descending. Bang! Streaks of blood light exploded on his body. These were clearly the crimson figure's life-preserving measures. Daring to infiltrate the central divine continent, infiltrating cloud mist-blessed land. How could the crimson figure not have any trump cards? However, all the trump cards, all the life-preserving measures, even the crimson crystal bestowed by the blood demon lord, all rapidly collapsed. In the final moment where the crimson figure's consciousness completely sank, his gaze towards Lin Yuan filled with endless horror. Wrong. He was wrong. The blood demon lord was wrong too. Everyone in the world was mistaken. Jun Wuji, whom they regarded as easy prey, was not as simple as he appeared on the surface. Even the crimson crystal bestowed by the blood demon lord could not withstand a moment. He, Jun Wuji, was at least at the level of an ancient saint. A few breaths later, Lin Yuan had finished browsing through the memories of the crimson figure. So he was planning to provoke a war in central divine continent. Lin Yuan roughly understood the blood demon lord's scheme. Blood demon sea, demon saint's nest, nether palace. Why do these ancient refined void ancient saints repeatedly want to initiate a major battle in the world of immortal cultivation? Lin Yuan looked thoughtful. With the Taihao immortal mirror stationed by Dowd immortal sect in central divine continent, no matter how great the battle, it couldn't harm its foundation. Blood demon sea. The blood demon lord, sitting on a small island deep inside, suddenly opened his eyes. Dead. Died so quickly? The blood demon lord found it hard to believe. With the fallbacks he had placed in the crimson figure, even if truly could it be that Mu Qinglu took action with the Taihao immortal realm in hand? The blood demon lord could only think in this direction. Cloud mist blessed land. Lin Yuan was still lying on the lounge chair. After dealing with the crimson figure, Lin Yuan began pondering on one issue. My current strength. After 100 years of cultivation, aside from mastering the physical body divine ability blood rebirth, in the martial Tao, Lin Yuan also made significant progress, having advanced the martial Tao cultivation system to the 6th rank 11th level. In the main world and immortal Tao world, the 6th rank corresponds to the refining void period. The refining void period further divides into entering void realm, hollow void realm, refining void realm. Entering void realm corresponds with 6th rank 1st to 3rd stage. Hollow void realm corresponds with 6th rank 4th to 6th stage. Void refinement realm corresponds with 6th rank 7th to 9th stage. Lin Yuan was already at the 6th rank 11th stage, and although he had not reached the 6th rank peak, his realm strength had already surpassed the limits of the refining void period. Perhaps he was still not comparable to the Tao integration period above the refining void period, but the difference was not very large, at least much stronger than the peak of the refining void period's void refinement realm. 6th rank peak. Lin Yuan's expression was contemplative. 6th rank 12th stage was not difficult for him. In as few as 10 to 20 years or as many as 50 to 60 years he could step into it. Lin Yuan was thinking about how to step into the 7th rank. In both the main world and the immortal Tao world, the transition from 6th rank to 7th rank, as well as from refining void to Tao integration, represented a significant threshold. In the main world's Qikuan star domain, with 120,000 life planets, accumulating over thousands to tens of thousands of years, the number of 6th rank fallen star warriors exceeded 100,000. But for the 7th rank, even counting the 3 senior brothers of the Qikuan main star, the number of 7th rank evolvers would not exceed 100. Even on the so-called meat grinder of the battlefields of different races, a 7th rank evolver could lead one side, becoming a marquis or a king.
Dao de Immortal Sect.
In the deepest part of the Mount Morality secret realm, a sudden surge of vast aura flowed out. Within the secret realm, a look of joy emerged on Mu Mingting's face. Refining void period. This is the refining void period. This is the ancient saint. Mu Mingting, feeling his mana completely transformed within, was brimming with ambitious dreams. He, Mu Mingting, also had this day. He also had the day to become an ancient saint. Sect Master. Mu Mingting took a deep breath. He calmed the excitement in his heart. Stepping out of the secret realm, he respectfully addressed Mu Qinglu. Although now he too was an ancient saint of refined void, Mu Mingting knew that he was still far behind Sect Master Mu Qinglu. This gap did not stem from strength, but from that founding artifact of the sect, the Taihao Immortal Mirror. Let alone the fact that Mu Mingting was just entering the refining void period, even if he stepped into the peak of the void refinement realm, deep in Mount Morality Immortal facing Mu Qinglu who was refining the Taihao Immortal Mirror, he would instantly be suppressed. The Taihao Immortal Mirror was not only a powerful immortal artifact, but it was also the hub of the entire Mount Morality Immortal. Whoever possessed the Taihao Immortal Mirror controlled the countless formation methods arranged over tens of thousands of years in Mount Morality Immortal. Rise! Mu Qinglu looked at Mu Mingting, a smile appearing on his face. Although he had long known that with Mu Mingting's talents, stepping into the refining void period with the resources of the Tao Immortal sect wasn't an issue. But at this moment Mu Qinglu still breathed a sigh of relief. The two settled down. Mu Qinglu then spoke to Mu Mingting about the next plans. With you presiding over the Immortal sect, I plan to take the Taihao Immortal Mirror and go out for a while. It's been too long, and too many people have forgotten why my Tao Immortal sect can control the central divine continent. Mu Qinglu's face showed a hint of coldness. Over the past century, he was not unaware of the movements of Nether Palace, Blood Demon Sea, and Demon Saint's Nest. He simply ignored them temporarily to protect Mu Mingting's path. Now that Mu Mingting had stepped into refining void, with him anchoring the immortal sect, Mu Qinglu could go out with peace of mind. Although the Tao Immortal sect had countless formations for protection, if there were no ancient saints presiding, being attacked by other refined void ancient saints would come at a great cost. This was also why, these past years, his own essence had always presided in Mount Morality Immortal. Chapter 265. As long as he dared to leave Mount Morality Immortal with his true form, whether he planned to confront the Blood Demon Sea or the Demon Saint's Nest of the Nether Palace, the other two sides would certainly strike against Mount Morality Immortal. But now that threat was no longer present. With Mu Mingting, an ancient saint, sitting in the Immortal Mountain, even if 3 or 5 ancient saints besieged it, they wouldn't be able to shake the foundation of the Tao Immortal sect. Thus, Mu Qinglu could take action freely and restore the prestigious name of the Tao Immortal sect above all beings. Sect Master, which side do you plan to move against first? Mu Mingting asked in a low voice. Which side? Mu Qinglu pondered for a moment. Let's start with the East Sea. Over the past century, the development speed of Bayou Island's White Jade Pavilion was extremely fast, almost having unified the Eastern Sea Islands. And that Master Yuanyang of Bayou Island was only half an ancient saint. Over the years, even if he had made a breakthrough, it's impossible for him to have entered the refining void period. Given that, with Mu Qingliu's true form plus the Taihao immortal mirror, they would grasp a complete victory over the enemy. On the other hand, should Mu Qinglu choose to make a move against the Nether Palace, the Demon Saint's Nest, or the Blood Demon Sea first, Master Yuanyang would certainly hide upon hearing of it. In the end, the Dowd Immortal Sect, the Nether Palace, the Demon Saint's Nest, and the Blood Demon Sea were all old adversaries. The latter three had special trump cards, and although Mu Qinglu held the Taihao Immortal Mirror, he could only suppress them, not kill them. Therefore, taking action against the East Sea was most in line with Mu Qingliu's expectations. The East Sea. That Master Yuanyang of Bayou Island deserves to die. Mu Mengting nodded and said. Initially, Master Yuanyang had destroyed his beloved Black Gauze archipelago that he had managed for many years. This was a grudge he still remembered to this day. I leave the sect in your hands. After saying these words, Mu Qingliu's figure vanished into the distance. The East Sea. Bayou Island. Hundreds of thousands of White Jade Pavilion disciples gathered on the island. Moreover, a large number of mortals converged on Bayou Island. Though called island, it was nearly 2 million li in size, equivalent to several Kanglan stars. If not for the vastness of the central divine continent, Bayou Island should really be called Bayou Continent. The core area of Bayou Island. Lin Yuan was sitting cross-legged. Below him, several disciples were raising cultivation queries, and Lin Yuan was answering them casually. Hundreds of years had passed. The foundation of the White Jade Pavilion had greatly increased. Cultivators at the Martial Tao first rank exceeded 100,000, second rank surpassed 10,000, third rank was more than 2,000, and there were 322 individuals at the fourth stage Martial Tao. There were 8 cultivators at Martial Tao fifth stage. Could be said that the White Jade Pavilion was undoubtedly the first in the Eastern Sea Islands today, and if Lin Yuan wished, uniting the Eastern Sea Islands would be a piece of cake. Lin Yuan seemed to sense something. He looked up toward the sky. On Bayou Island, countless disciples were either gathering together or wandering alone, studying and cultivating martial Tao techniques. Suddenly, above in the 9 heavens, a round immortal mirror radiating terrifying immortal light bobbed in and out of visibility. As the immortal mirror turned slightly, a beam of terrifying light descended from the 9 heavens. The terrifying nature of the mirror light brought even space itself to a near standstill. Wherever it passed, nature's spiritual energy dissolved into nothingness. It was foreseeable that, if this mirror light were to fall on Bayou Island, the entire island would be pierced through, this holy land of cultivation completely destroyed. The fallout of the mirror light would lead to the death of all beings below the ancient saint level. What is that? This is bad. Run quickly. It's too late. We're all going to die. Countless White Jade Pavilion disciples looked up at the sky, filled with despair. Beneath the terrifying light of the immortal mirror, there was only one thought in everyone's mind. Death. No matter where they ran, it was death. Just then, a figure appeared above Bayou Island. Instantly taking on a phenomenal size, he was so tall that his height was immeasurable. His force of Taiyang so intense it was like a second sun. The towering figure raised his hand lightly, and Bayou Island, about the size of several Kanglan stars, was completely protected within the palm of his hand. Chapter 266 Grandpa, what do you want to cooperate with me on? In the 9 heavens above, Mu Qinglu stood with his hands behind his back. The Taihao immortal mirror hovered above his head. A terrifying beam of light from the mirror was already blasting towards Bayou Island below. At this moment, Mu Qinglu himself had arrived, carrying the true body of the Taihao immortal mirror. In this realm Mu Qinglu was invincible. Erasing Bayou Island would only require one strike. Master Yuanyang. The light in Mu Qingliu's eyes was indifferent. Master Yuanyang had been a half-step ancient saint over 100 years ago. By now, he must be very close to becoming an ancient saint, but what of it? If not yet an ancient saint, under the beam of the Taihao immortal mirror, he would surely die. Even if he were an ancient saint, unless he was one of those 3 veteran ancient saints from the Nether Palace, Demon Saint's Nest, or Blood Demon Sea, he too would be gravely injured or crushed to death. This was Mu Qingliu's confidence. This was the confidence of the Daoed immortal sect master, who had ruled over the central divine continent for tens of thousands of years. Those 3 old fellows must be quite frightened now, mustn't they? Mu Qinglu glanced in the directions of the other 3, planning to go and reminisce. In his eyes, the fate of Baiyu Island below him was already sealed, to disappear into smoke and clouds under the mirror light. However, the next moment, Mu Qingliu's expression drastically changed. He suddenly lowered his head to look. A giant, of unknown size, towering from earth to sky, raised his hand and shielded Baiyu Island, spanning over 1,000,000 miles. The shocking beam emitted by the Taihao immortal mirror, upon touching the back of that majestic figure's hand, quickly dissipated, vanishing completely within a few breaths. What is that? Mu Qingliu's expression turned grave. Master Yuanyang. Mu Qinglu watched as the figure that had stopped the blow from the Taihao immortal mirror quickly returned to normal size, with hands behind his back, his face looking extremely troubled. Ancient saint of refinement void. An ancient saint at the peak of the void refinement realm. Even surpassing the limits of the void refinement, beginning to explore the Tao integration stage. Mu Qinglu judged in his mind. The ability to manifest such a massive form surely belonged to a great divine skill. And to block a strike from the Taihao immortal mirror so effortlessly, his strength was unfathomably deep. Mu Qinglu had never anticipated that Master Yuanyang, whom he had considered easy prey, would possess such formidable strength. In the north of Divine Continent, on a small island deep within the Blood Demon Sea, just as Mu Qinglu was utilizing the Taihao immortal mirror to release that terrifying beam of light, the Blood Demon Master suddenly opened his eyes, his expression solemn. Has Mu Qinglu left Mount Morality immortal? Has the Daoed immortal sect birthed a second ancient saint? The Blood Demon Master quickly surmised numerous things. Master Yuanyang is finished. The Blood Demon Master shook his head slightly. By stepping out from Mount Morality Immortal, Mu Qinglu was making his first move against Baiyu Island, solely to utterly annihilate Master Yuanyang. I told you to join me, but you refused. Now are you dead? The Blood Demon Master shook his head slightly. 100 years ago, when Master Yuanyang occupied Baiyu Island, the Lord of Blood Demon had sent his subordinates to persuade Master Yuanyang to join him. After all, there weren't many in the Blood Demon Sea with combat power close to that of an ancient saint. However, back then, Master Yuanyang had directly refused. And now, in the eyes of the current Lord of Blood Demon, Master Yuanyang's decision was a mistake. What a pity! The Lord of Blood Demon shook his head. Master Yuanyang did not come from the Daoed Immortal sect and had no ties with the Blood Demon Sea, Nether Palace, or Demon Saint's Nest. Relying solely on himself, he had cultivated to the brink of the ancient saint realm. If he had been willing to accept the gift from the Lord of Blood Demon and transform into a blood godchild, he might have had a chance to reach the true level of an ancient saint. Something's not right? Just as the Lord of Blood Demon was planning to contact the other 3 ancient saints to discuss how to deal with Mu Qinglu, he suddenly sensed something and abruptly widened his eyes. A strike from Mu Qinglu was blocked? The Lord of Blood Demon's mouth fell open. Although he had not witnessed it in person, through the aura sensing, the earth-shattering mirror light unleashed by Mu Qinglu had not exploded forth but had dissipated into nothingness. At the same time, a terrifying force rivaling the sun, the power of Taiyang, converged. The Taiyang Ancient Saint. An ancient saint nearly surpassing the limit of void refinement? How could Master Yuanyang possibly possess such strength? The Lord of Blood Demon could hardly believe it. Even if Master Yuanyang had broken through to the void refinement realm, the Lord of Blood Demon would be at most shocked, not utterly dumbfounded as he was now. It was not impossible for Master Yuanyang to have broken his shackles and stepped into void refinement 100 years after being on the brink of ancient saint. But now, surpassing the limit of the void refinement period, that was a level touched only by the sect master, who held the Taihao immortal mirror. And Master Yuanyang reached it on his own? How could this be possible? We were wrong. We were all wrong. 100 years ago, Master Yuanyang wasn't just nearly an ancient saint. The thoughts of the Lord of Blood Demon surged fiercely. He suddenly realized that 100 years ago, Master Yuanyang had never claimed to be at the brink of the ancient saint realm. The label of being nearly an ancient saint had always been speculation from the outside world. Surpassing the limit of the void refinement period, could he be a great power from hundreds of thousands of years ago? The Lord of Blood Demon pondered rapidly. Initially, he thought Master Yuanyang was a strong figure born within the last few millennia. Yet, with the combat power and strength demonstrated, how could he have cultivated to this point in just a few thousand years? The Lord of Blood Demon conjectured that Master Yuanyang might hail from 100,000 years ago. Back then, the Taoed Immortal Sect was not the undisputed master of the central divine continent. 100,000 years ago, the Ascension platform had not yet emerged. There were many unfathomable strong figures in the world, some surpassing the limit of void refinement as well. It was not only the Lord of Blood Demon who was shocked. Almost at the same time, the ancient saints from the Demon Saint's Nest and the Nether Palace sensed that Mu Qingliu's original self had taken action with the Taihao Immortal Mirror in hand. Chapter 267. The Island Master, Master Yuanyang, easily blocked it. Master Yuanyang is so strong? Taoed Immortal Sect Mu Mengting was also paying attention to the East Sea. He wanted to see with his own eyes how Master Yuanyang would kneel and beg for mercy under the suppression of Mu Qinglu. However, what happened next made his scalp tingle. Mu Qinglu, holding the Taihao Immortal Mirror and deemed invincible, was actually blocked by Master Yuanyang? Above the 9 heavens, Mu Qinglu stood with the Taihao Immortal Mirror above his head. He was caught in a certain dilemma of whether to advance or retreat. Initially, Mu Qinglu thought that subduing Master Yuanyang would not encounter any accidents. That was why he came to the East Sea at the first opportunity, taking action against Bayou Island. Persimmons must be picked to squeeze the soft ones. Compared with the Blood Demon Sea, the Demon Saint's Nest, and the Nether Palace, Master Yuanyang naturally belonged to an undisputed soft persimmon. But to his surprise, this soft persimmon turned out to be the world's hardest stone. For Mu Qinglu, Master Yuanyang, whose combat power had reached the void refinement limit and was even surpassing the limit, was the one he least wanted to deal with. The Ghost Cultivator King of the Nether Palace, the Blood Demon of the Blood Demon Sea, and the Demon Saint from the Demon Saint's Nest had unique trump cards, and even with the Taihao Immortal Mirror in hand, Mu Qinglu could not totally annihilate them. But at least he could dominate the fight. Yet facing Master Yuanyang, Mu Qinglu didn't even have the confidence to win, let alone dominate. What worried Mu Qinglu even more was if Master Yuanyang joined hands with the Ghost Cultivator King, the Blood Demon, and the Demon Saint, Taoed Immortal Sect might face the worst situation in tens of thousands of years. Master Yuanyang, I think there has been some misunderstanding between us. Mu Qinglu was silent for a moment, put away the Taihao Immortal Mirror, and secretly transmitted his voice. Next, Mu Qinglu transmitted a few more words and then turned to leave. In the skies above Bayou Island, Lin Yuan stood aloft, quietly watching Mu Qinglu leave. Seeking to cooperate with me? Lin Yuan pondered the words Mu Qinglu had just privately transmitted. In summary, it meant one thing. The animosity between Taoed Immortal Sect and him, Master Yuanyang, was not irresolvable. The two could cooperate. As for the specifics of this cooperation, the details could be discussed. In central divine continent, above the 9 heavens, Mu Qingliu's gaze was contemplative. Upon reflection, there was not much irreconcilable hatred between Master Yuanyang and Taoed Immortal Sect. It was just that Master Yuanyang had eradicated Daoud Immortal Sect's foothold in the Eastern Sea Islands, the Black Gauze Archipelago. But that, Mu Qinglu could choose to forgive. It was just the Black Gauze Archipelago after all. As for his rash move against Bayou Island earlier, Mu Qinglu could totally make up for it in other ways. If I could cooperate with Master Yuanyang.
Mu Qingliu's heartbeat kvuitskenet.
Master Yuanyang was an ancient saint from the Taiyang lineage, and moreover, an ancient saint who had surpassed the void refinement limit. Such an ancient saint was simply a natural nemesis to those wicked and evil powers. If he were to join forces with him, it would be entirely possible to completely eradicate Nether Palace and the Blood Demon Sea. Before today, Mu Qinglu had never thought about dealing with Nether Palace and Blood Demon Sea, because it was very difficult to achieve. Even with the immortal artifact Taihao Immortal Mirror, it couldn't be done. This time, he held the Taihao Immortal Mirror in his hand as he left Mount Morality Immortal, with the intention of merely suppressing those three old fellows to teach them a lesson, so they wouldn't get any ideas. That was all. But now, Mu Qinglu saw hope. Cloud Mist Blessed Land? Mu Qinglu suddenly stopped. His gaze turned towards the Cloud Mist Blessed Land below. Just before leaving, he had sent a few messages to Master Yuanyang. Among them was the possibility of cooperation. As for how to cooperate, the two needed to find a place to discuss it in detail. In the end, Mu Qinglu chose Cloud Mist Blessed Land. As for why not Mount Morality Immortal? Mount Morality Immortal was the old den of the Immortal Sect, and it was unknown how many strategies had been laid out by past sect masters. Mu Qinglu figured that if they really chose Mount Morality Immortal, then Master Yuanyang would not come. The Cloud Mist Blessed Land was quite appropriate. Although the Cloud Mist Blessed Land was one of the 108 blessed lands, it hadn't been rigged with many schemes. With Master Yuanyang's strength, the entire Cloud Mist Blessed Land was as insubstantial as tissue paper in his eyes. Choosing Cloud Mist Blessed Land meant that he, Mu Qinglu, absolutely had no other schemes up his sleeve. And the Cloud Mist Blessed Land was very close to Mount Morality Immortal. If the discussion did not go well, Mu Qinglu also had an escape route. One final point. Compared to other blessed lands of Central Divine Continent, the importance of Cloud Mist Blessed Land was not high, the only benefit being its ability to prolong life slightly. But the life-prolonging efficacy of Cloud Mist Blessed Land was negligible for cultivators. Swish. Mu Qinglu descended into the Cloud Mist Blessed Land. Greeting the sect master. Chunhua and Shoyua's faces were filled with panic, not knowing what matter brought the sect master to them. Where is Wuji? Mu Qinglu asked. The young master, he is in seclusion. Shoyua spoke with a trembling voice. I'll go tell the young master right away. No need. Wuji. Images of Jun Wuji flashed through Mu Qingliu's mind. Moreover, the images of Jun Dongjin, Mu Lianer, Jun Xiaoyao, and Jun Jilan all passed through his mind in succession. For some reason, Mu Qinglu felt somewhat sorrowful at this moment. For the benefit of the Mu family, he had ultimately given up on Jun Dongjin, and even his two grandchildren, Jun Xiaoyao and Jun Jilan, had been sent to the distant vast cliff mountain. Only Jun Wuji, the grandson who had been scarcely noticeable since childhood, had escaped disaster, but even so, he was separated from his own parents and brothers. Wuji. Let him continue his cultivation. Don't disturb him.
Mu Qinglu sighed.
Despite being somewhat cruel, he, Mu Qinglu, did not feel he had done anything wrong. Do not go up to the attic on the mountain top. I shall meet a Taoist friend there. Mu Qinglu ordered a few words. Then his figure disappeared. Chapter 268. Yunwu Mountain Summit. Outside the attic, Mu Qinglu sat cross-legged, facing the direction of the East Sea, quietly waiting for Master Yuanyang to arrive. I wonder what price must be paid to persuade Master Yuanyang to cooperate with me against the Blood Demon Sea, Nether Palace. Mu Qinglu thought to himself. He greatly valued Master Yuanyang, such a powerful figure, who would stand out in any era, even tens of thousands of years ago in that age when beings beyond the void refinement limit frequently appeared. We must have a good discussion later. Even if we fail to agree, we must resolve any grievances. I absolutely cannot let Master Yuanyang collaborate with those three old men.
Mu Qinglu secretly pondered.
He had already communicated with Master Yuanyang, proposing a cooperation discussion at Cloud Mist Blessed Land, and the latter would likely arrive soon. The foot of Yunwu Mountain. Chunhua and Choyue's faces had just regained some color. The sect master's sudden visit had really startled them. That was the Taoist immortal sect master, a supremely great figure in the central divine continent. For two lowly golden core stage female cultivators like them, meeting such a grand figure was something unlikely in their lifetimes. The sect master is here to meet some Tao companion, right? It must also be some grand figure, but to have the sect master personally wait, this Tao companion. Chunhua and Choyue were puzzled. With the status of the immortal sect leader, who under the heavens would dare be late and let the sect master personally wait? Isn't that putting on airs a bit too much? Does the term Taoist, in Taoist immortal sect carry the meaning of being moral? The reason it is called the Tao immortal sect is that all enemies have been thoroughly defeated and subjugated. Only its own members are left, and that's why there's room for morality. As Chunhua and Choyue spoke softly, a figure emerged from a sealed cultivation chamber unknowingly. Ah? Young master, you've come out. Chunhua and Choyue turned around and saw Lin Yuan, immediately bowing to greet him. Young master, the sect master was here just now. He's now at the summit of Yunwu Mountain, waiting for a Tao companion. Chunhua immediately shared everything she knew. I understand. Lin Yuan nodded. Lin Yuan looked up towards the summit of Yunwu Mountain. The mountain was enshrouded in clouds and mist, much like an immortal realm. It's about time. Lin Yuan's expression was calm. He then followed the mountain path stairway. Then he climbed the stairs towards the summit. Young master. Chunhua and Choyue, upon seeing this, hesitated but did not interfere. Although the Taoist immortal sect master had said not to let anyone go up, the young master was not an outsider. He was the immortal sect leader's grandson. He should be allowed to go up, right? Yunwu Mountain was not tall, only a few hundred meters high, but the mountain paths and stairways were quite rugged. Lin Yuan's eyes were downcast as he ascended step by step. Lin Yuan did not use any divine skills and simply climbed steadily. About half an hour later, Lin Yuan reached the summit of Yunwu Mountain. He saw Mu Qinglu, facing east, back towards him. Lin Yuan walked straight towards him. Wuji. Mu Qinglu had already noticed Lin Yuan, but did not stop him. I've already talked to Meng Ting. He will soon bring Jun Dongjin and your mother back, and your family will be reunited. Mu Qinglu assumed Jun Wuji wanted to plead for his parents and directly broached the subject. Upon hearing this, Lin Yuan did not stop. He walked in front of Mu Qinglu and sat down eye level with the immortal sect leader, who dominated the central divine continent. Wuji. Mu Qingluo's brow slightly furrowed. The spot Lin Yuan chose was the one he had reserved for Master Yuanyang. Nonetheless, since Wuji was his grandson, even with such impudence, Mu Qinglu still did nothing. Wuji, you go down first. In a moment, your grandfather and a Tao companion have important matters to discuss. Matters that relate to the overall situation in the central divine continent. Mu Qingluo's expression was amiable. He thought he was not wrong about the Jun Dongjin situation, but he still felt somewhat guilty towards his grandson. Lin Yuan remained silent, simply quietly observing Mu Qinglu. Wuji. Mu Qingluo's smile faded. He was somewhat baffled about what his grandson was trying to do. Did he not understand the importance of the upcoming discussion for Tao Immortal Sect, for the central divine continent? The two stared at each other. Grandfather. Just then, Lin Yuan slowly began to speak. Mu Qingluo's expression softened, but Lin Yuan's next words made his pupils contract. What do you want to cooperate with me on? Chapter 269, Being Reactive and Negotiating. Bayou Island. Lin Yuanyang's spirit floated down serenely. The disciples of the White Jade Pavilion were filled with fervor, having just thought themselves certainly doomed to death. The terrifying beam of light that pierced through heaven and earth had been effortlessly blocked by the sect master. Especially the sect master himself, who, in the end, transformed into a colossal giant tens of thousands of zhang tall, covering the entire Bayou Island with a mere palm. Such divine skills and abilities, even the ancient saints of refined void might not be capable of them, right? That light beam, should it be the Taihao immortal mirror of the Dowd immortal sect? Our sect master blocked the strike from the Taihao immortal mirror? Doesn't that mean the sect master is already an ancient saint? Nonsense, merely an ancient saint? That Taihao immortal mirror is the founding artifact of the Dowd immortal sect, and under it, which of the three ancient saints from the Blood Demon Sea, Nether Palace, and Demon Saint's Nest dare to resist? Our sect master's power is simply 100 years had made the White Jade Pavilion the most powerful force in the East Sea. Its disciples, worldly and wise, immediately deduced that the light descending from the 9 heavens probably came from the legendary immortal artifact, the Taihao immortal mirror. Lin Yuan glanced at the multitude of ecstatic disciples from the White Jade Pavilion, then returned directly to his cave dwelling in the core area. Master! Li Qing and the other disciples accepted by Lin Yuan immediately greeted him with utmost respect. Under Lin Yuan's occasional guidance and the rich cultivation environment of Bayou Island, disciples like Li Qing were either at the 4th stage martial Tao or 5th stage martial Tao, matching the nascent Soul True Monarchs and Mahayana Heavenly Monarchs of the immortal cultivation system. The ordinary disciples outside had only seen Lin Yuan's incredible feat, blocking the strike from the immortal mirror that could have erased Bayou Island from existence. But disciples like Li Qing, with their strong capabilities in high realm, were even more acutely aware of just how terrifying the colossal giant Lin Yuan had transformed into really was, and what it truly meant to be able to withstand a strike from the Taihao immortal mirror head-on. Master! How can Master be so powerful? Li Qing and the other disciples trembled in their spirits. They had been cultivating alongside Lin Yuan for over a century, under his tutelage. They had considered their master's power unfathomably deep, but at most felt it was close to an ancient saint of refined void level. As to blocking the strike from the world's strongest ancient saint of refined void just now, making the revered immortal sect leader retreat proactively. That was nothing short of a fanciful tale. Well, there's something I need to announce. Lin Yuan looked towards the 3 to 4 dozen disciples he had taken in over the years. These disciples were particularly suitable for cultivating the martial arts evolution system, and were key to supporting the continuation of the martial arts evolution system once Lin Yuan left this realm. Master, please speak. Master, please speak. Li Qing and the other disciples immediately said respectfully. Go and unify the East Sea. Lin Yuan spoke calmly. For over a century, even though the White Jade Pavilion had become the most powerful force in the East Sea, it had not interfered with other, less orthodox paths. Not because it couldn't, but for fear of attracting the attention of the Dowd immortal sect. However, there was no need for such concerns now. Lin Yuan's power had already become invincible in this world. If not for that Taihao immortal mirror, merely with the Yin spirit and Yang spirit, he could have swept across this realm. Unify the islands of the East Sea. Li Qing and the other disciples were invigorated. Lin Yuan's gaze fell towards the direction of the central divine continent. This world is not limited to the immortal path. My martial Tao also needs to make its mark. Vast Cliff Mountain. Every corner was guarded by divinity transformation stage heaven lords. Jun Dongjin, as a former high-ranking member of the Dowd immortal sect and even a contender for the sect master position, was now abandoned and assigned to the remote vast Cliff Mountain, yet still protected by divinity transformation stage cultivators from the immortal sect. In fact, it was more surveillance than protection. Jun Dongjin knew too many secrets of the Dowd immortal sect, and should he escape or be swayed by the Nether Palace, Blood Demon Sea, or Demon Saint's Nest, it wouldn't bode well for the Dowd immortal sect. Within a cave several li away from vast Cliff Mountain, 2 divinity transformation stage heaven lords sat cross-legged. To think that we, as esteemed heaven lords, would be assigned to such a remote place. The thin man on the left side. A divinity transformation stage heaven lord, even within the Tao Immortal sect, is regarded as a mid to upper level cultivator, entitled to benefit from the spirit vein of Mount Morality Immortal, greatly aiding in cultivation. Yet now, situated around the vast cliff mountain, despite the presence of nature's spiritual energy, it surely pales in comparison to that of Immortal Mountain. Even Jun Dongjin himself is here. What complaints could you have? The round-faced heaven lord glanced at the thin man. I'm not complaining. Just think the sect master is a bit unfeeling. Suppressing Jun Dongjin is one thing, but why reassign his daughter and grandson here as well? The sect master's decision must have its reasons. The round-faced heaven lord shook his head. Do you think Jun Dongjin will ever return to Mount Morality Immortal? The thin man couldn't help but ask. Not sure. It all depends on Mu Mingting's wishes. The round-faced heaven lord pondered then replied. The current situation within the Tao Immortal sect was clear. Mu Mingting was designated as the next sect master. Then it's over. The thin man suddenly felt a headache. Though not appropriate to discuss the future sect master Mu Mingting, her vengeful nature was no secret. Perhaps once Mu Mingting stepped into the refining void period and became an ancient saint, taking over as Immortal sect leader, her outlook might change, but that was merely a possibility. It's really Jun Wuji, Jun Dongjin's youngest son, who is lucky. The whole family is reassigned here, yet he remains enjoying his life in the cloud mist blessed land. The thin man couldn't help but feel emotional. Sometimes, being weak is a blessing. Chapter 270. Jun Wuji was still able to stay in cloud mist blessed land only because, in the eyes of Mu Qinglu and Mu Mengting, this man posed no threat. He didn't even have the slightest presence. That's why he was able to escape this calamity. Indeed, the round-faced celestial lord nodded in agreement. If Jun Wuji had been the least bit noticeable, he, along with his two elder brothers and elder sister, would have been transferred over as well. Hee. Just as the gaunt man was about to say something, his expression suddenly changed. The round-faced celestial lord beside him experienced the same change. Within their sensory range, a presence appeared out of thin air, and it headed straight for vast cliff mountain. How audacious! How reckless! Do you not know that this place is a forbidden land of the Tao Immortal sect? The other Mahayana heavenly monarchs also noticed it one after another. They all revealed themselves, shouting in an explosive manner. Who are you?
Son Yun Wuti.
When the Mahayana phase heaven lords saw clearly the face of the newcomer, they were immediately stunned. The aura exuded by the figure in front of them was similar to that of Tai Yin under the bright moon, but the face was that of Jun Wuji. Though Jun Wuji was exceedingly low profile within the Tao Immortal sect, his appearance was widely known, as he was once a third-generation celestial with a heaven-reaching background. I've come to take my parents away. Lin Yuan spoke with a calm tone. Before confronting Mu Qinglu, Lin Yuan had already sent his Tai Yin primordial spirit to vast cliff mountain. Regardless of the final outcome of the negotiations, Lin Yuan planned to take his parents and elder siblings to the Eastern Sea Islands. At the very least, he wouldn't allow them to remain in the hands of the Tao Immortal sect. For this reason, this Tai Yin primordial spirit of Lin Yuan had purposely transformed into the main body's appearance, so it would be easier for his parents to accept. Son Jun Wuji, may I ask if you have the sect master's decree? The round-faced celestial lord and the other celestial lords glanced at each other and tested the question. A starving camel is still bigger than a horse. Even though Jun Dongjin was no longer part of the sect's high ranks, he was after all the son-in-law of the Mu family. Jun Wuji was even the immortal sect leader's grandson. Once all the celestial lords on scene recognized Jun Wuji's identity, none of them dared to speak out of turn.
A sect decree.
I don't have one. Lin Yuan shook his head as he replied. According to the rules, without a sect decree, Lord Jun Dongjin's family is not permitted to leave. The round-faced celestial lord reminded him, closely scrutinizing the Jun Wuji before him, sensing something very strange about his aura. No matter. Lin Yuan said with a slight smile. The next moment, the expressions of the round-faced celestial lord and the others drastically changed. They all felt the space around them solidify, and found that they were unable to move their internal mana or divine sense. They were bound in place. Then, under the watchful eyes of numerous celestial lords, Lin Yuan walked directly towards Vast Cliff Mountain. Inside Vast Cliff Mountain, Jun Dongjin, Mu Liener and Jun Zhilan, as well as Jun Xiaoyao, had long noticed the commotion outside. At this moment, they looked towards the approaching Jun Wuji in shock. Wuji, Mu Liener tentatively called out. Although the appearance was the same, the aura was inconsistent. Mother! Lin Yuan nodded. At that word, Mu Liener felt a sense of relief in her heart. Though it was just one word, it assured Mu Liener that this was indeed her younger son, Jun Wuji. Long story short, I'm going to take you to the East Sea now, where it is much safer than here. Lin Yuan looked towards his parents and elder siblings. Ah?
Yun Xilen blinks.
Everything that happened from the beginning until now left her in a state of confusion. How could her little brother be like this? And just now, that group of Mahayana heavenly monarchs watching over them, why did they suddenly become immobile? We'll explain after we reach the East Sea. Lin Yuan raised his right hand and swept his great sleeve. Space twisted as if compressed, and Jun Dongjin and the other three began to shrink steadily until they were all drawn into the sleeve. The Dowd Immortal Sect's supreme technique, Cosmos in the sleeve. The cloud mist blessed land. Dowd Immortal Sect leader Mu Qinglu, with his gaze fixed intently on the grandson sitting across from him at eye level. At this moment, Mu Qingluo's heart was overwhelmed by towering waves. That sentence, "What do you wish to cooperate with me on?" from Jun Wuji almost caused Mu Qinglu to lose his composure on the spot. As an ancient saint of refined void, with an exceptionally clear memory, Mu Qinglu was certain that the matter of cooperating with Master Yuanyang was only discussed with Master Yuanyang himself. To others, he had mentioned only that he was discussing important matters with a Taoist friend. Discussing important matters could mean many things, far beyond just cooperation. But now, Jun Wuji was asking him, what to cooperate on? Wuji, you. Mu Qingluo's pupils faintly reflected the silhouette of a celestial mirror. In just an instant, Mu Qinglu activated dozens, if not hundreds, of secret techniques, trying to uncover the truth about his grandson. He had no choice. That phrase, "what to cooperate on," had too great an impact on Mu Qinglu. Even if Jun Wuji had guessed it by chance, Mu Qinglu would still verify it repeatedly. With a jolt, Mu Qinglu closed his eyes tightly. He seemed to see torrents of blood qi and rolling scarlet clouds. Jun Wuji, within him, contained some sort of extremely terrifying power that blocked all of his probing secret techniques. Who are you really? Without a sound, above Mu Qingluo's head, a celestial mirror radiating with fairy light surfaced. The pressure from Jun Wuji was indeed too great. So great that he subconsciously activated the Taihao Immortal Mirror for protection. Grandfather.
Eam Yun Wuti.
And also, Master Yuanyang. Lin Yuan's expression remained calm. Since he had decided to reveal his cards, Lin Yuan saw no need to hide his identity anymore. Mainly because his current strength was already invincible, fearing nothing. Not even the immortal sect leader wielding an immortal artifact. You! Mu Qingluo's face went through a myriad of changes. At this moment, he even suspected that his own grandson might have been possessed by the powerful Master Yuanyang. However, possession techniques come with many restrictions, and with his strength, he should have detected something amiss if Jun Wuji had genuinely been possessed. But there was nothing. The soul aura of his grandson had been unchanged from beginning to end. Master Yuanyang. Mu Qinglu raised his head, looking in the direction of the Eastern Sea, vaguely sensing an aura as imposing as the sun rising up and responding to the Jun Wuji in front of him. Impressive. After a long while, Mu Qingluo's expression gradually regained calmness. I never expected that my Taoed immortal sect, after hundreds of thousands of years, would produce a genius like you. Now that the most unbelievable possibility had become the truth, Mu Qingliu's mind began to clarify the numerous doubts he had. For instance, when Master Yuanyang first appeared, it had been on the Black Gauze Archipelago. At that time, his grandson was present to celebrate his own Hollow Void ceremony. Meng Ting was reporting to him about matters concerning the Black Gauze Archipelago at the time. I want to work with you. To work with you to take down Nether Palace, the Blood Demon Sea. Looking at Jun Wuji, who had become a stranger before him, Mu Qinglu said in a low voice. By now, he had fully elevated. Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today.